Hello, folks, and welcome back to the K&B Music Den. My name is Keith,
I'm Brad,
as always.
as always. There you go.
Well, I tell you what, buddy, I've been wanting to talk about this for a little while. I was kind of waiting to see how things would pan out. We might have more to talk about here with this young
Sure.
man. But, I'm sure just about everybody that watches our channel has at least heard of Oliver Anthony by now.
No, I would imagine so.
Yeah, so this young man, I tell you what, he just put his music online, and they threw a video up of him playing a song in his backyard with his dog sitting there, and it's got this really cool guitar. It's got a cool tone to it, and just
hmm
a microphone there out in the backyard in the grass, and just sang the absolute hell out of this song.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, it's called Richmond, North of Richmond. And I tell you what, man, if you would print out the lyrics on a piece of paper and read them, there's some scathing jabs at politicians, at
Oh, yeah.
leaders, at the elite,
hmm
the rich folk. And he just seems like a guy you'd see down at the local bar, and you'd want to have a beer with. And yeah, man,
Yeah,
this thing absolutely caught fire. I mean, the last time I looked, I mean, it's probably hit about 70 million views at this point, and it's
oh,
been
sure.
a little over a
Sure.
month.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know all the particulars of how this got so huge, but
hmm
it just spoke to people,
That's
you know.
it. Yeah, it hit a nerve.
Yeah, it definitely hit a nerve. So
Yep.
first of all, let's just talk about the song itself. What do you think of the song?
That guy's got a voice. That's
Yeah,
the first thing I would say. I don't care what he's singing about. The voice alone, my God.
yeah,
That was the first thing I noticed. I was waiting. I was like, okay, well, let's see. What it's going to be lyrically poignant. It's going to be, you know, combative in some way. But when he started singing, I went, holy shit! Like it's just good. Like he's just a good musician.
yeah,
Um, but yes, then you do listen to the lyrics and you realize. I think the thing I liked a lot about it isn't really divisive in a I'm conservative, I'm a liberal, I'm. This was just I'm sick of how things are. Like you don't really get a stance. I mean, there might be who knows if he has one or not, but the song to me was just in general, like you said, sit at a bar and bitch about taxes, you know,
yeah.
and we all do it. It's just he can do it in a song much better.
Well, dude, I'm glad you brought that up because you beat me to it. I mean, that's what really sticks out with me about this song is it's not about Democrat, Republican, Independent. It's just about human life, you know,
Mm-hmm.
particularly American life, of course.
Yeah.
But I think anyone can relate to this song about. It's just like, wow, they always say it's going to get better, but it doesn't seem to be. And
Yeah.
you know, I'm working my ass off for this dollar that ain't worth shit anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
he says it so much more eloquently than I did
Yeah.
there. But and you're right. I mean, the voice is what stood out to me too. I mean, this
Yeah.
guy just. I mean, you want to talk about authentic.
Oh man.
I mean, that that voice, that roar, just comes out of him. It's just natural. It's just who he is.
He could
Um,
sing the phone book and I would listen.
exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no pretense with this
No.
guy, and honestly, it seems to me like the amount of attention and, quite frankly, at this point, fame that this young man has gotten overnight. It really was overnight. Um, it seems to make him a little uncomfortable. I mean, um, I've heard, don't always know what to believe when you read it, but I've heard different
Sure.
stories about, he had a concert that was scheduled, and then he found out that the venue was charging a lot of money to do like a meet and greet to meet him, and he was like, nope, nope, I don't want people that want to meet me
Yeah.
to have to pay. Just come and meet me,
Yeah.
Um, so, and again, we don't know all the details, and maybe was part of the reason he was upset is because they were making all the money off the meet and greet, not him. I don't know. I mean, that doesn't seem like his MO from what I've heard of him so far. So
No, I mean, I'm thinking he's pretty genuine. I mean,
yeah,
I think he sang what he meant with conviction, and yeah, like you said, I don't think he was trying to get famous. It wasn't a guy who was famous prior to that song,
no,
so it threw
yeah,
him into the limelight. It threw him into it politically, musically, from all different sides, and I don't think he was ready to go profit off of it right away. I think he's,
yeah.
you know,
Well, this to me, folks who follow the channel know that I myself I'm a songwriter. I've been a musician most of my life, for the love of it more than anything else.
Mhm.
But you know, um, this whole phenomenon is just back in the day when this technology did not exist, this could not have happened.
No, no.
Like no one would have heard this song.
Well, there
No
was
one would
nothing
have
called,
ever heard the song.
yeah, there was nothing considered viral back in the 90s. There was no
Yeah,
viral anything. So,
yeah.
no.
So I mean, and I applaud this young man because he's speaking from the heart. It's very clear.
Yep.
Those words meant something to him. Obviously, he has other songs. I got a chance to listen to a few of them earlier today, actually, and I thought they were good. But there's just something about this song and these lyrics and his voice, like you said, that's just really grabbing people. Um, I just I'm really fascinated by this story, honestly, because you know this in a way it's an accidental fuck you to record labels
Yeah, I
because
mean,
this guy doesn't need them.
no, not anymore.
No, I mean, I
Yeah,
saw,
you don't need them
and
anymore.
again, you got to know, you got to figure what you want to believe when you see things
Yeah.
online. I saw there was an estimation that on downloads alone, he was making about 40 grand a day
Oh my God, see, I didn't know that.
for that song. Now,
Wow.
again, that's not going to last forever.
No.
But geez, and I also saw, if I can believe it, that he was offered, I believe it was an $8 million record deal,
I believe that one is correct.
and he turned it down.
Yeah, I've seen that. But like you
Um,
said, why? At this
well,
point,
yeah, I mean, and a big reason, from what I understand, a big reason he turned it down, he said something along the lines of, I'm not quoting exactly, but he didn't want to be a record label's puppet because they would
mhm.
probably bring him into a big expensive
Oh
studio
yeah,
and strip away all of what he is, the authenticity, the fact that he captured
mhm.
the country, the world,
Yeah,
just with a guitar and his voice in his backyard, the way he did. Um, what the record labels would do. They would fuck this
yep.
up royally.
Oh,
They
they
would
would.
take
Yeah,
him, try to make him a pop country star,
yeah,
and take everything that he is and just
yeah.
change it. And the reason why people have grabbed onto this so intensely is because he's just being himself.
Well, I think honestly, everybody would write the same song if they could. The difference is he can sing it and perform it. He's got the voice. He's got the wherewithal to write it. Everybody's thinking it though, so that's why it's connecting
Yeah.
so much. Is everybody would write that song if they could,
Yeah.
but they can't. He did it, so
Yeah.
yeah.
And I mean, yeah, I've heard a bit of the Bob Dylan comparison just because of like speaking out about issues and things, and it's kind of coming out of nowhere, and like, who's this guy? I mean, to me, it's like, come on, pump the brakes on that.
I don't get the Bob Dylan comparison on it though. A, Bob couldn't sing. I mean, no offense to Bob.
Yeah, yeah,
And secondly, Bob, his was a little more political leaning in my opinion. I don't get politics out of this. I just get anger. I just get frustration. Bob wasn't writing out of frustration. I think he had opinions on what he wanted to happen. This just sounds like a pissed off guy who's tired of his money getting taken. So I think
yeah.
that's why people cling on to it so quickly.
Well, and I'm glad that you heard it the same way I did, because I did hear it as more of like, hey, I'm just pissed off about how the way things are. It's not a right or left thing.
Yeah.
I could definitely see a lot of people latching onto this and believing that it is an anthem for a certain party. But I don't see it that way, and I'm kind of glad you didn't either, because it makes me realize that I'm not alone in that thought.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something that's universal at this point. I mean, is there anybody sitting around patting the government on the back saying, "I just love the way the finances are going"? Like, I like
Yeah,
paying all these taxes. I don't think there's anybody saying that.
yeah, yeah. So, well, and the fact that it came out right when it did now,
Mhm.
considering who's president and things like that. I mean,
Yep.
I think some people will try to latch onto it and be like, yeah. But
Well, if it was
yeah,
flipped and you had a Republican in office, the other side would do it. I mean, it's
yeah,
either side's going to take advantage of the song and run with it.
exactly. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, the voice is stunning. The voice is just earthy and
Oh,
real and powerful and
it is.
authentic. I'll say it again for the
Yeah.
lack of being for the at the risk of being redundant, was what I meant to say. But yeah, I tip my hat to this guy. You know, from what I've been seeing, he wants people that are fans of his music now to, you know, not be taken for a ride and not be charged, you know, $200 to shake his hand and get his autograph.
Yeah.
So, you know, I applaud him for that. I applaud him for that. I mean, a lot of people, you know, if they were just working a 9 to 5, busting their ass and feeling like they're not making enough money, and this happened to them, someone put $8 million in front of them, they'd say, I'll do whatever the fuck you want me to do for $8 million. You know?
Yeah.
So
I
applaud him. I applaud him, you know, and it does seem genuine. It does seem genuine.
It does.
From what I've seen, you know, very clearly and very strongly a man of faith. He's done a lot of interviews and quoted the Bible and things like that. So yeah, he's got his head on straight. He's got a message. He's using his platform the way he wants to use it. It seemed very clear that, you know, he wants to spread the word of God. And hey, there's worse things you could do with your time.
That part is so true. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, I tip my hat to him. So yeah, were you able to pick up on any other stories about him or anything you want to talk about his music?
That was mainly it. I mean, you picked up the ones that I had heard too and was kind of looking over, but like you said, it just looks to me at this point that he's comfortable running his own show at this point. He doesn't want to sign to anything, want to be a puppet. So I mean, you're 100% right.
Yeah. I'm curious, did you get a chance to listen to any of his other songs yet?
Not as much.
Yeah.
I stuck primarily to that one.
Yeah, and that's the other part of this that I think is a bit of a shame. I think there's a lot of people that are going to have already clearly downloaded this song, but you know, I mean, if this guy puts out a full album, I want to hear it. I want to review it. And I know you feel the same way, but I think, you know, your average Joe, your average Jill, your average Jane, is probably just going to download this one song, which I think sells him short a bit, but we'll see what the future holds. Maybe he'll put out an album that is just fantastic. Well, real quick, I want to go back to the other thing too, that if he did sign a huge deal with a label, you know, the other thing they would probably do is try and get him to write 10 or 11 more songs exactly like that one.
Yeah, it depends. They would use them for their own purpose at that point. So yeah.
So stay strong, Oliver. Do it on your own.
Yeah, exactly.
And as I sit here, you know, being very jealous that nothing I did ever went viral, but hey, you know, I'm still young. Maybe it'll happen.
Yeah, you never know.
But hey, folks, let us know. This has been a big thing in the music world and just in the general in the social consciousness of our country and, you know, in some ways the world. So we wanted to weigh in on it. So please, you weigh in on it in the comments. Let us know what you think. Have you heard any of his other songs? Are you looking? You know, there's got to be an album coming at some point. Brad and I will definitely check it out. Will you? So let us know. Let us know what you think. Are there things, you know, I was just kind of spitballing from things I've seen online. If there's anything that I have the wrong information or anything, please let us know in the comments. I'm not above being corrected. I don't have, you know, hours and hours and hours to research one song and one person. So if I miss something, let me know. But as always, for Brad, this is Keith. This is the KNB Music Den. Thanks for tuning in. Please like this video, share it on social media, subscribe to the channel, and smash the bell for notifications. You'll be notified every time we drop new content, such as this, the Oliver Anthony story unfolding before our eyes. We're going to keep an eye on this talented young man. And thanks. We'll see you soon with more content. Thanks, Brad.
Yeah, you have it.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Take care.